Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's FPV podcast. This week, we got on the man because we need to talk about champs, and there's only one source that we trust, which is Joe Scully. But before we talk to him, Elvin, what do you got?
I just want to say, this is the fourth person that I've lost in my family in the last 4 months. And I just want to make sure that you guys get out and spend time with your family members. It's very important, and reiterate that you care for people and that you share a bond with people, because when they're gone, and you can't tell them the things that you want to tell them today when they're gone then. So go out and do that now so that they know you care, spend time with them. That's really all I got to say, guys. But I'm glad to see Scully on here, and let's talk about drone racing.
Drone racing. Condolences, Elvin, and best of luck to you on, having to deal with all of that. But Joe Scully, how's it going, man?
Just living that dream, this seasonable weather. We got this global warming, melting all the snow. Got two feet of snow outside, and now it's all melting, and it's a skating rink out there. So I actually took a header going to the corner store there earlier, and I was like, Bambi down, big boy Bambi down. But it's not the worst. I mean, it was at one point minus 22 up here where I live, just 2 hours north of Toronto. It was minus 17, and it felt like minus 22 Fahrenheit, just baller cold. So just enjoying this weather and getting ready for my next road trip. I've been doing a bunch of projects, doing a bunch of flying as of recently, but coming up, we got MultiGP Champs, and that's in the crosshairs for now, and then some other events here coming up this spring. So just trying to stay warm and trying to keep moving and innovating and on to the next event.
All right. Sounds good. All right. For everybody who wants to know about how Champs is going to roll out, this is going to be your podcast. And we're getting it straight from the source. So, hey, you know what? At least we're going to Vegas where it's going to be a little bit warmer. I guarantee you it is going to be warmer than where you are, Joe Scully.
Hey, I don't know what y'all talking about, but it's 50 degrees around here right now.
Nice.
Crazy. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the DRL sims before we get into the drone racing parts. What do you know about the sims? What are the requirements and the schedule?
I know a fair bit of it. And the Swatch DRL Tryouts are a combined effort. Even though we have different locations, the MultiGP Champs are at Craig Ranch Regional Park in the north end of the city, and right in the center of the city is at the Luxor where the sim tryouts are. But DRL has really got behind MultiGP this season and tail into last season as well. And it's a partnership weekend. We want to get as many FPV and sim pilots, FPV sim pilots to Las Vegas that weekend. People can still get into the Swatch DRL tryouts, and it's for an amazing prize, a $75,000 contract. $75,000 like annual contract plus the television contract. If you win the sim competition, the Swatch tryouts, second and third are getting like $15,000 in the sim contest.
I could use that.
And if they do have an opening, then they would be like the alternates. Like there's a chance that they could get TV contracts as well. So that's a huge event, and we're partnered with MultiGP. And so all 150 pilots that we'll have competing in Las Vegas are automatically rolled into the Swatch DRL tryouts, and they can. We're encouraging everyone to pre-qualify to actually enter the tryouts ahead of time, but it's not necessary for our pilots that are already in, but we are encouraging that for a few reasons that we can get to. But the tryouts are still open. It's pretty much open to anyone and everyone. If you can fly the course or the series of courses in under 9 minutes, which is pretty easy to do, you're in and start booking that airfare in those hotel rooms. I've been following the flights on Hopper, and the flights are down right now and pretty inexpensive, even at we're 2.5 weeks out or so. So it's gonna be an awesome event starting just after noon on Saturday of Champs Weekend and going through until about 10 o'clock at night. And when people aren't competing, there's tiny whooping with provided tiny whoops, even if you have your own. They're going to provide you a tiny whoop. If you haven't flown a tiny whoop, it's your opportunity to do so. And also we got like VIP lounges and a lot of the superstars of the FPV community will be there, including like Jesse P from Tiny Whoop and Raphael Perker. Everyone knows Trappy from TBS, and some Rotor Riot pilots. I think Bach Grinder is going to be there. I know Ladrib's going to be there. And of course, all of our superstars of drone racing with MultiGP. Our reigning champion, Captain Vanover, will be there. Chris Thomas, our CEO of MultiGP, will be there. I'll be there hanging out because I haven't had time to run a time, but who knows? Maybe I enter the sim competition. And on top of that, there's like free drinks, free food. It's going to be an amazing time at the Swatch DRL Tryouts.
Bring your girdles, guys. Bring your girdles.
It's going to be great. Do you know, I think the only requirements that I've heard of, and Elvin's already talked about this, is that you want to have the game, you want to be registered on Steam, and of course you want to complete the minimum trials, and you should be good to go.
That's it, and it's going to be a bracket system. I haven't seen it. I don't know how they're going to do that with their quantity, but it is a bracket eliminations as you go through the entire day. So you are going to want to qualify fairly high. So even no matter where you are, if you're in the top 100 right now, just keep pushing, trying to get top 50, top 25, what have you. And that'll go right up pretty much until a couple of days before the event when they cut it off. But you're going to want to see it as high as you can, and it'll just make your journey a little easier. Because we're going to have spectators, we're going to have like 250 plus people competing, and it's at the Luxor in an esports stadium. So it's going to be a pretty intense place to be. You don't really want to go in there and work your way up from the extreme bottom. So we're really recommending that. Now for our pilots, because we wanted to, it is a partnership. We wanted all 150 eligible pilots. I don't think all 150 are eligible because you have to be 18 or older to compete. But anyone that is eligible, we wanted to make sure that they could just show up and enter if they didn't have a gaming computer, they didn't have the sim already, that sort of thing. So we do have a few, DRL's made a few concessions for our champs pilots so that they can actually get their Steam account and get logged in on site. But that's going to be a pain in the butt. I mean, it's going to be as seamless as it can be, but we're really recommending everyone to get the sim and get qualified as high as possible. It's going to help out the pilots and get yourself closer to winning. Like there's $100,000 in prize money, right? So just over like $105,000 in prize money on the line in this esports competition, plus the television contracts, which are dreams come true. And it's going to be an absolute blast. Like I'm VIP, obviously, because I'm with MultiGP. But if I wasn't, I would do anything and everything to qualify just to go and hang out with these guys on Saturday. That's right.
Hey, Elvin's almost in the top 100, and when he's up there in the podium, I'll be taking plenty of pictures. This is going to be something that's going to be plastered all over his Facebook. You know it is, because you're going to want those pictures when it comes up. You know that. Do you know anything about the schedule?
Oh, it's on the Saturday, and I think the pilot briefing is at 12:15 p.m., and I think it's going to go right through until about 10 o'clock at night.
Okay, so everybody's just going to gather up at the Luxor right around noon. Actually, show up early. Like in any of those events, you should always show up early. Show up a little bit early and go have some fun. We'll be there. Scully's obviously going to be there. And yeah, the entire FPV community is going to be there. Show up, have a little fun.
Drink a Red Bull on the way there. Drink a Red Bull in the line. Drink a Red Bull when you get to after you register. Just keep drinking Red Bulls. Some of us pilots will really appreciate it.
Yeah.
He's trying to get everybody the shakes. That's what he's trying to do.
I don't know why I can't fly.
It is a one-day event. There is going to be prize money, obviously. And from what I've heard, only the first place winner is going to be offered a contract. If whoever the winner is ineligible, it'll just go down the line. And I believe what you've already said was that second and third place, they will be like the first alternates to be able to get a contract if they come up and are available. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, second and third place guaranteed at least $15,000, as well as a DRL Racer 4, which no one has seen, which is a pretty awesome prize. But if for some reason, like they are in line as alternates for pilot contracts on DRL, kind of a little bit behind the scenes, some of the rumblings that I've heard is the DRL season is going to change format slightly. So they were originally, they wanted first, second, third all to get DRL contracts, but because the format of the season is going to change, that just wasn't possible. So second and third have a chance, but no guarantee on the DRL pilot contract. But $15,000, that's a good chunk of change, so why not?
All right, so that's all the info that we're going to give for the DRL Sims. Let's go ahead.
And $75,000 in the winner, though. I mean, that's pretty huge, right? Like, you got to remember when Jordan Temkin won DRL the first time. I mean, that's what he got, $75,000, and that was racing actually on DRL. Now they're matching that with the Swatch Tryouts. So, I mean, it's amazing. First, second, third, guaranteed $105,000, and in this eSport competition, and everyone else, I mean, free food and all kinds of other prizes, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And if I wasn't VIP, I'd be trying to qualify right now, but I'm just going to be hanging out in our MultiGP VIP area for most of that event and getting set for Championship Sunday the next day. So can't go too crazy, but it is going to be the biggest FPV party inside that Luxor on Saturday for sure.
There you go, folks. So definitely show up, have a little fun. If you're on the West Coast, it's not even all that expensive to travel there. Just get with a bunch of friends and come on down and meet everybody in the community. All right, let's go ahead and get into the actual drone racing, because that's going to encompass at least 3 full days. Tell us what to expect, coming in. I'm assuming the first day is going to be set up in practice, and then we're going to have finals on Sunday, I believe.
That's right. So MultiGP by pilots for pilots. And for our spectators, if you're really into drone racing, yeah, come on out and watch every single day. But if this is going to be your first drone race, we're inviting you really to come out Sunday for the championships. And that is basically from 2 until 4 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. Like, you can watch the entire season of football, or you can just watch the Super Bowl game, and might as well just watch the Super Bowl game if it's your first one. With our top 16 from that field of 150 from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. on Sunday, which will allow us our podium by 5 o'clock. And some people are red-eyeing out on Sunday night to go home to their lives and their wives and so forth. However, by pilots for pilots, we wanted to see every pilot fly as much as they can on the championship course. Looking at MultiGP, one of our most successful championships ever was the 2016 edition in Muncie, Indiana. There we had 3 courses. Our championship pilots, I think, flew like upwards of 30 packs of practice before they, the finalists, before they got to fly, which was nice. People advancing through like the fast from the UTT 60, Series 60, and so forth. They got to fly like 20 some odd packs. But then there were some people that just went for UTT or Series 60, and once they were eliminated and so forth, they only got 7 packs. But it was a lot of packs flown, especially in contrast to when we had one course and all the weather issues in Reno last year and other opportunities. So we actually selected this venue. We spent a lot of time focusing on venues for the purpose of having 2 identical courses. It's at a park. It's a public park. People just walk through there randomly anytime, walking their dogs, and there's actually barbecue pits and stuff like that. But it allows us 2 tracks, and so Thursday is going to be our practice day, and we're going to split the fields in half. So some people go to track 1, some will go to track 2, and then we'll do group A, B, C. I think ABC or ABCD. So we'll split them up into further groups so that on Thursday you roll up, you can fly every 3rd heat with your group if you want. Maybe you don't want to fly that fast. You have to fix something. You can skip one and someone else will fly almost back to back or something like that. The numbers are going to be really, really tight, kind of like International Open, where you have 8 packs. You just, there wasn't a limit at International Open, but you walk up. When it's your turn, we scan you. It goes into the scoring computer, so you'll see your lap times after the heat, and we're going to load you up with 8 packs. And the biggest thing about that is we want people there. I haven't broken it up yet. It's one of my projects to do today or tomorrow, but we only want the pilots there for about 3 or 4 hours on Thursday. Then they can go find another place to fly. There's a lot of talk, of course, with people in the South saying, why are you giving these people so much practice when, why don't we just get into qualifying, yada, yada, yada. There's people that'll be showing up on this thing that haven't flown in 5 months. Like, I was just talking about how just about broke my neck on the ice. Like, you can't fly out there. Your quad goes down as toast. And, we're going to say a good 40-50% of our pilots haven't really flown outside. So we give them that practice day on Thursday, but at the same time, we're not locking them into the track so they can go fly elsewhere, go out in the desert, for all intents and purposes. And fly around cactuses, slalom, whatever you need to do, so that people can fly, warm up, and get ready for championship racing. So Thursday, we're giving everybody 8 packs. Then we get into Friday, and that's where we get into our traditional MultiGP format. So we have our list and contenders. From our 150 pilots that are paid and confirmed, we have finalists, contenders, wild cards, and people that have qualified from the list. There are times that they're regional final. The finalists are the VIPs. They're the ones that are top 6 at their regional final. Those 36 pilots plus Captain Vanover, our reigning champion, they get another 8 packs of practice. Sounds crazy, but we just want everyone to have the same number of packs. While they're on track 2, just flying and having a good time and then getting ready to go fly elsewhere, we'll have the contenders list and wildcards compete. So that's a field of about 128 pilots. We give them 1 round of practice to warm up, 3 rounds of competition, and then we make a cut from there. Those that advance, now we're gonna be cutting a few. I want to say we're cutting about 30 pilots at this point that, well, they got their 8 packs of practice and they got their 4 packs in the list of contenders wildcard. So they got their 12 packs. They're done. They can become judges, volunteers. They can watch the event. They can go enjoy Las Vegas. But it's a pretty light cut from 150 down, taking 20, 25, or 30 out of there. Everyone else is still competing for prize money. We will take, so everyone who advances from that list and contenders on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, they get 4 more packs. What that means is those advancing now have 16 packs, the same as the finalists, because the finalists were Thursday, Friday practicing. The list contenders wildcards, those advancing, they get their 4 packs, so they're at 8. Now, what's different from previous years of all the MultiGP championships, you follow our flow chart, we go to the next, or the Fast 57, and that's the biggest part of the competition, the second to last stage of the competition. This year, we're taking that Fast 57 and the next 57 in 2 separate competitions. So on Sunday, on Championship Sunday, 2 tracks are going. We have the Fast 57 and the next 57 all competing. So the next 57 are positions 58 through 115. They get a pack to warm up and then 3 rounds of competition. Then they go to a bracket, a top 16 double elimination. Meanwhile, our Fast 57, just like years previous, they're going to do their 1 practice, 3 rounds, best round time. They go to a top 16 for their top 16 double elimination. Everyone at noon will be on the main course, and we'll do our next 57 top 16 double elimination, and then our top 16 double elimination on the main course, and then we'll be done by 4 o'clock, and then awards at 4 o'clock. We are awarding prize money to the top, I think, 8 of the next 57 top 16 bracket, and the top 8 of the Fast 57's version, the you'd call that the pro division top 16 domination bracket. So from noon until 4, we'll be with our top final 32 pilots from next 57 and Fast 57, and ultimately everyone will fly almost as much as we did in Muncie 2016, but it'll be more even per capita. Everyone's going to fly a bunch on the course, and there's a lot of people excited about that next 57 that sure, they made it, they've qualified somehow to be one of the 150 pilots, but they know in their heart of hearts that right now Evan Turner, and Captain Vanover and Miwo and Dolma. These guys are they're going to slay it. They're the ones to beat, and they're just not within reach. But when you take that cut, at that midway point, now you have a lot of like seeded pilots. That'll be almost blade to blade. I think that'll be tighter racing, and I think it's going to be really, really exciting to follow along. And that's our 4 days of fun. It's actually 3.5 days of fun because we're going to be shut down Saturday afternoon for the DRL Swatch Tryouts, but it's going to be a jam-packed weekend of drone racing in the esports arena and also, of course, IRL in real life up at Craig Ranch.
On Saturday, is the track open in the morning?
So it will be for those advancing. The finalists will not be able to fly because they're at 16 packs, but everyone advancing in the Fast 57 and the Next 57, so I think it's about 80 pilots. Those 80 pilots will be flying from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Just practice, just to give them the same amount of packs as the finalists. Right. Okay. So the finalists will have had 16. They'll have 8 practice packs on Thursday, 8 practice packs on Friday. And then those advancing from the list contenders wildcard, they get another 4 packs because they competed in the list contenders wildcard division, which gave them 4 packs. So that means everybody that's competing on Sunday, which is 115 of the 150 pilots, will all have had the 16 packs on the track. If you're following some of the discussions online, the finalists are like, why are we doing so many packs of practice? And, why aren't we just doing qualifiers? It's only 3 qualifiers, yada, 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 yada. But, I mean, it's 6 competitions in one with 150 pilots and all these different arcs. And so as confusing as it sounds, if you go to multigp.com, hit championships and 2018 championship, the schedule's there. It looks more simple than it is, and I think as long as we are, weather permitting, it's an amazing schedule. It really encourages participation and encourages and provides lots of packs for pilots. So we're super stoked about that. But again, that's a long answer. Short answer to Saturday. Saturday is just 4 packs of practice for the 80 pilots that advance from the list contenders wildcard.
Okay, sounds good. So basically, Thursday and Friday, there's going to be a lot of practice packs. Light on Saturday, head down to the Luxor, enjoy yourself for the DRL Sim Tryouts. Don't get too drunk, and then we will have championships on Sunday, at least for the people that are going to be flying on Sunday. Definitely
drink lots of Red Bull.
Don't listen to Elvin because and we will see lots of amazing racing. So there's going to be a lot to do down there. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of the after party stuff? Because obviously you've already kind of covered that pretty much everybody in FPV is going to be there. We're going to have the Rotor Riot crew down there, and we also have Tiny Whip. Jesse P is going to be throwing something down. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that Saturday night is the official party at the Swatch DRL Esports Tryouts. So that's where Trappy, Jesse P, Rotor Riot, and all of our pilots will be. And then I think there'll be an unofficial after party for sure on Championship Sunday.
Always.
As all those pilots stick around.
But behind the bathroom.
That's it. And then, of course, after, at the official party, during the Swatch Tryouts, the Jesse P is providing the Tiny Whips that everyone's flying, and there's open bar, well, not open bar like a wedding, but there's bars open, there's VIP areas, and all kinds of free food and stuff like that. And it's gonna be a good time. Now I think it only goes until about 10 or so, and I'm sure everyone will venture off to other places. I know that there's a few Airbnbs that they're having some Tiny Whip competitions at and stuff like that. Nothing has been announced as official. For us, we're really going to be focused on getting a great start on Sunday morning. So you're not going to see me at the MGM Grand in the Crown Royal Lounge at 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday night.
You're not going to go watch J-Lo, man? What's up?
Sunday night, maybe we'll go see Blue Man Group, but it's a great time. I was just in Vegas.
I know you want to go see Britney Spears.
I think she's done. I think her residency's over, and then Cardi B, her residency doesn't start for a few more months here. But I was just in Vegas mid-December and had an absolute blast
Did you see Brittany while you was there?
Did not.
Well, she'll be there while we're there.
Okay.
Elvin's fan favorite, Britney Spears, apparently. Hey, definitely show up for the Tiny Whip. You know, it's always fun. That's probably one of the best communities out there in FPV. They always have a blast. Actually, I skipped over one thing, so I definitely want to go back to it, which is the live stream. What can you tell us about the live stream?
Not 100% sure what's happening there, which it may not sound the best, but we will have a live stream, of course. I've spent a lot of time building my own live stream setup, so come rain, sleet, snow, hail, we'll definitely be streaming, and it'll be a quality live stream. Unfortunately, our our main live stream guy, Adrian, who did most of our, I think, 5 of 6 regional finals and champs last year and a bunch of major events for us, he is unable to make it. He had some family stuff come up. So right now our tentative is that my gear and I would be running the live stream with some support of MultiGP Corporate, but something that we're in talks with. So if it happens, you get the tee up. If it doesn't happen, don't hate me, because, again, I'm kind of speaking a little bit out of school. But we just did the Tiny Whip Invitational with Jesse P. over in Loveland, Colorado. And we worked with this group called Hydra FPV. And they do Tiny Whip events in bars and other entertainment venues. And they have come up with an app, which is incredible. I know many of us have talked about doing this, but they have an app so that every single heat, whether it's practice or qualifying or championship bracket, you see in advance who is racing and you pick the order that they're going to finish. And you start with like 5,000 fake dollars, and you can bet it all. You can bet a little bit, and you can bet every single heat, every single round, right through the end of a competition, and for sponsored prizes. And that totally changed the Tiny Whip Invitational, because every single heat, everyone was losing their mind in-house and online. And there was one guy online on the second day there that went from 70th to 9th in one round. So that's telling you there's like well over 100 people watching a Tiny Whip live stream and gaming in this Hydra FPV app. So Chris Thomas, of course, was at the Tiny Whip Invitational. I was as well. We got to see the app in effect, and we thought it was outstanding. Also, they have some great live streaming gear, so we think it would be an asset for them. So we're trying to get them on board for our live stream for champs, and fingers crossed, and it looks pretty good. But if not, at the bare minimum, you'll have a live stream from me on my streaming computer, and I've got some pretty dialed in gear myself. So regardless, it'll be an awesome live stream. We will, for all of our media and stuff, we'll be promoting Championship Sunday, probably like from noon until 4:30. We have your next 57 top 16 double elimination, and your pro top 16 double elimination, and then our awards. We will be streaming pretty much from start to finish. I don't know if we'll be streaming Thursday practice, but Friday we will be streaming that competition between the lists, the contenders, and the wild cards for sure, so that everyone can follow their journey right through to the very end and see who's going to get their piece of the prize money if it's either the next 57 or the Fast 57 divisions from their top 16 double elimination brackets.
Regardless of what happens with the live stream, it's always something that people look forward to. I know there's a lot of hardcore live stream watchers out there. There's definitely going to be something. That's what Joe Scully has confirmed. Whatever comes. But
I'm sure it'll be awesome regardless. We're really hoping that this gaming thing works out, because that'll make it just that much more exciting and interactive. But yeah, for sure the live stream is going to be awesome, because we have 150 of the best pilots in drone racing competing again and again and again and again and again on a great course, decide our podium, and our 2018 MultiGP champion, who also will become a DRL pilot, which is amazing.
A lot to look forward to the next 2.5 weeks. If you got travel plans, definitely make them now and make sure that you get it all booked away, because it is going to be hectic out there. Couple of travel tips. Hey, you and me, I think all of us have been to Vegas at one point or another. So let's try to throw out some travel tips for people that are not going. Number one for me, If you don't want to take a taxi, you want to take an Uber or a Lyft, it is not in the standard place. You actually have to go into the parking lot. It's a little bit hard to find, but once you find it the first time, trust me, you will save a lot of money if you do rideshare. Taxis in Las Vegas are not cheap. I'm just going to say that right now. Joe, you got any off the top of your head for anybody traveling new to Vegas?
Well, I mean, the biggest one is if you are trying to enjoy some nightlife, play some games, whether it's at the bar on a video terminal or slots or table games. I love blackjack. That's my jam.
Spend $50 on the table. You get comp stuff, right?
That's it. I mean, they just come by and just keep feeding you drinks. So, play those penny slots as long as you can. And otherwise, beer and mixed drinks are like $7 in most bars. It's actually pricier in a casino, even though you hear the opposite. But if you are gaming, then your drinks are free. That's the best way to roll. Even if it's sitting at the bar and just putting $1 in that gaming computer, the video blackjack or whatever. That you're saving yourself money as long as you bet responsibly, game responsibly.
Right.
And I was just in Vegas in December for a big event. Actually, the Super Bowl at Rodeo is there. It's the largest event in Las Vegas. It's bigger than CES. And one of the other things is try and do a little research of where you're going. If you are, I mean, obviously don't drink and drive, but if you do have your own car and you're driving around, you're going casino to casino, then just try and plan ahead on where you're going to park, because the major casinos on the strip like MGM Grand and Caesars and Bally's, they're going to charge you about $9 if you leave it overnight, which was one of the strategies we did this past December. Is we would go until we were too boozy, leave the car and try and find it in the morning. And it was like $35 to park at the MGM Grand overnight, which was not as economical as going in an Uber, of course. But if you go slightly off strip, then there's a lot of places that you can park for free, like South Point and Strata Surfer, and there's many. Just do a little research and play it right, and save your nickels that way.
On the subject of food, anytime I'm in Vegas, I usually only eat one big meal and then kind of be sparing, because if you're going to be on the strip, food's going to be expensive. If you find yourself a convenience store, definitely stock up, especially if you're going to be on some sort of, sharing a house or anything like that. And the monorail is your friend if you want to visit the entire strip, because it's very cheap and it saves you on a lot of Ubers. So, a couple of tips for getting around Vegas. There's definitely a lot to do.
Well, and another thing too is you can pretty much walk around with alcohol too. And so one of the things that we've done, I guess when we were there last January, we walked the strip actually pretty much in the middle of the day. And instead of going, you get thirsty, and of course you've been there a few days and you're like, dang, I want a beer. Don't go to the casino, go into CVS. It's like $2. It's regular price beer. And so just go to the CVS, grab yourself some beer, like a 6-pack or whatever, and continue walking the strip and enjoying the sights, especially if you haven't seen like the pirate ship and all the different motifs and stuff around there. CVS is a good tip for discount beer on the strip.
All right. I think that's all I have for the national championships. Anything else you want to add before we move on?
I don't think so. I mean, we're really super stoked. This year is going to be our biggest. We've been very busy trying to RSVP and pre-RSVP and get registered, yada, yada, yada. But we now have 150 pilots paid and confirmed to go to champs. We haven't had that before. I think we've had like 118, 120 show up in years previous. So this one is a full grid, and we're super stoked about that. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of racing. And I mean, it's going to be such a huge event and really, really exciting to see how this partnership is going to play out. We would love to do this again in 2019/2020. There's obviously been some talk about having the 2018 championships in February of 2019. One of the tongue-in-cheek responses I give is, well, with football, their playoffs and champs don't happen till the next season either, right? Like, Super Bowl is always in the first weekend of February, last weekend of January. January, and they started playing in September, whatever. So the timing isn't the most ideal we get for the North people, so we're trying to make those concessions. But we really want to see how this event plays out, and we're focusing on that partnership with DRL, and DRL has been a huge financial backer on this project. We wouldn't be able to do it the magnitude that we're doing it this year. We did have some decent sponsors of our season and some decent sponsors of championships as well, but it just wouldn't be done without the support of DRL. So we're really hoping that they have the great attendance that they're expecting for their Swatch DRL tryouts, and that we really hope that many of our MultiGP pilots take advantage of having this co-promotes, and hopefully that we can deem both events a success and do another co-promotes next year. Maybe we do it before Christmas, maybe we do it same time of year, but we really are hoping that this all goes well and we can do this again, because DRL has really made this event and taken it to the level that it's at.
Definitely. So we're going to shove Scully to the side a little bit because he has to be PR about this, and me and Elvin will give you real talk. If you like drone racing, even if you don't like sims, your ass should better show up and actually support it, because everything has to be synergized. We need the sponsors to feel appreciated and feel like it's worth it. Isn't that right, Elvin?
That is absolutely true right there for sure. I can't stress that if you're not liking the direction that drone racing is going, well, things have gotten a little shrinkage, and people trying to pull in their belt and be a little tight-lipped about things. But I can tell you that the reason why those things had to happen is because we have to get back to what's important, which is racing, and you got to be there. Like, we want this to grow. You got to get up, you got to get off your ass, and you got to come on down. And I know why it's going to beat me for this, but don't monkey around. Get your ass up and get down to the hotel. Hey, check this out. I might be competitive.
I think Elvin's going to be competitive. Hey, bring friends.
Might be competitive.
Bring
that
friends.
Might be something to watch. That might be something to watch.
If you're racing and you're going to be up on that little seat, take pictures, bring your friends, bring your family. Hey, bring everybody, right? Show the support. That way, we know that in 2020, it's going to be bigger and it's going to be better. So that's what we're here for. That's why we're on this podcast. Bring everybody. Show that the community is awesome. Not just to us, but to DRL in Las Vegas. Exactly. We're showing up. We're going to have fun. And everybody MultiGP is going to have fun. And we want you to be there. That's really the final word on that. Okay. I'm off my soapbox. Let's go ahead and move on. All right. After champs, we're going to go to our first ever Dawn Till Dusk race. This is the Team Mayhem team race. And I got a standing challenge with Elvin. His butt better show up to this race. I got a standing challenge. Okay, Joe Scully, tell us about this race.
Well, it's an exciting race. It's in Louisiana, just off of Bourbon Street. I think it's 20 minutes from Bourbon Street, down in Louisiana. It's called the Mayhem Dusk Till Dawn race. Shannon Broussard from Acadiana FPV is the brainchild behind it, going to be running it. He wanted to do a 24-hour race. He's been talking about a 24-hour race forever. And so now he's made it from dusk till dawn. I think that's a concession. I think people are pretty excited about that. It's an 8-team race that is going to start, I think, at about 8 a.m. and go to 8 p.m. or 7 to 7. It's a 12-hour race. It's going to be a 12-hour long day. The teams are coming in. They're starting to be pretty stacked right off the hop, and I think it's half sold out, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
And this event is April 6 to 7. So it's still a few months away, but they've now sold their four of the 8 teams that are going to be racing simultaneously. The gates are all going to be elevated. There will be retrievers provided, which I think are going to be like golf carts that you see at a driving range with the netting all over them, so that I guess you can take your turn to go out and retrieve down quads. But with the new technology that that has come out with the Heart of America pit switch and Tiny LED's pit switch and Olaf's pit switch, that now you can turn off your video transmitter and launch your next drone. That's definitely going to change the game of team racing. Now, I think it's like 8 pilots on a team too, or something like that. 5 or 8 pilots. Yeah, there's a lot of pilots out there, and a lot of down quads out there. So those retrievals,
three per pilot. It could be a big field.
It's gonna be crazy. So you got some great teams lined up for it, like Team White Goat, definitely making the trip. Team Torque, I think, is a local team. Heart of America team with Sean Taylor on board with Team Heart of America. That's a pretty stacked team. Of course, Sean Ames as a coach.
It's going to be fun.
The 2018 DRL World Champ Paul Nurkala is on that team as well, the Heart of America team. That one's pretty stacked. And then the first team to get on board was Team Velocidrone, so SFPV. And
I know those guys.
I think Evan Turner heads up FPVs on that team. They'll probably have Miwo on that team. Pretty crazy. So yeah, 4 teams so far. Velocidrone, Heart of America, White Goat, Team Torque, and 4 more spots open. And yeah, I think it's gonna be insane. I know it's been Shannon's dream for a while, and we're pretty excited for that for sure.
Yep, definitely. We'll definitely be talking to Shannon a little bit about that. Try to fill up all 8 of those spots and have the first ever 12-hour race, which is insane because the amount of batteries, charging, pits, down quads, propeller, it's all crazy, you know.
I got to get on the list of batteries going home with.
We're gonna have another standing bet on when Joe Scully's gonna lose his voice after trying to announce this for 12 hours. I don't know how he's gonna do it.
Well, I kind of have a strategy that it's trying not always to be me, so I can bring some people in, and we've had some good success with that at other events, bringing in pilots that have been eliminated or waiting for their races to do the co-commentary. So that's going to be one of the many tricks in my bag to get through this whole thing. And of course, I always have the Joe Scully soundboard ready to go, so that can help as well.
Sounds good. So anybody who's interested in that, definitely check out the Team Mayhem race. Shannon does an excellent job with all team racing. This is not his first rodeo, as many of you know. He's done many team races, and he continues to push the boundaries of team racing, which is why we love supporting him. And we really hope that this goes off with all the success that his other ones have been. So April 6th and 7th, definitely look out for that. If you're a team, definitely contact him. See if you want to actually be participating in the first ever 12-hour race, because he's going to be pushing to that 24. So make some history out there on April 6th and 7th. Anything else you want to talk to or say about that team race?
Just looking up, it's the price. It's I think it's relatively inexpensive for a team, but unfortunately the price is not up here on the website. But it is super cheap, and you can get in touch with Shannon. You can go to MultiGP and search Mayhem from Dusk Till Dawn. Dawn Till Dusk, rather. Mayhem from Dawn Till Dusk.
That was my bad.
It's under the Acadiana FPV chapter Talk with Crash. That's Shannon, or you can send him an email, which is shannon@multigp.com to get involved in that one. It's going to be pretty exciting. And then Sunday is an individual race. It's not really promoted, but there will be. It's not just a one and done, even though everyone, I'm sure, is going to be tired of team racing from dawn until dusk. That's a long, stressful day. We've seen these 30-minute qualifiers and 25-minute mains just exhaust teams at Sebring and Megadrone X and one we did in Las Vegas and so forth. And the ones Shannon's have done, this one is 12 hours. So if anyone has any energy left and their quads left, then we'll be doing individual racing again on Sunday. And it's just in Avondale, Louisiana, just outside of New Orleans. I think the Airbnb I'm staying in is in New Orleans. It's like 25 minutes to go to Bourbon Street. I've never been. Looking forward to that, but hopefully I'll have some energy left, because that's going to be a long one. Mayhem from dawn till dusk, April 6 and 7.
There we go. Definitely show up. And I really want to see somebody fly a quad for like 20 minutes, just slow poking around, because it is 12 hours, okay? Staying in the air is going to be so important. So I'm intrigued by the strategies that could happen through a 12-hour race, because I don't think fast is going to be near as important as can you actually survive with all your quads for 12 hours.
There's a pilot, Rocket Ronbo. He's from the Southwest region. I saw him at the Southwest Regional Final. He's actually going to be at Champs. He qualified in the top 150. But at AMA Expo West, he was in the team race. We did a slightly different format there. He flew a 3S quad, and I think he was doing 5-minute packs. Like, he was out there just not crashing, just collecting those laps, and 5 minutes a pack. Because that event, well, many team races, it comes down to the pit stops, and he wanted to stay out there and collect as many laps before he had to pit. So that was his strategy. I saw it pay off. 3S, it could be the return of 3S.
There we go. I don't know about 3S, but the return of better efficiency. How about that? So we're looking forward to that. And that's really all we have for this week. We just wanted to catch you up on what's going on for Champs, and also the first team race of this year, and we're really excited to see that. Going to keep Joe Scully busy. It's so funny because Joe and I were talking before the podcast, and we were going over the amount of miles that he's traveled for 2018, and it is insane. This guy, he has like miles coming out of his butt. How many miles did you get?
Last year, between January and December, I did 118,000 miles, and I sat on 60 different planes over the course of that. And my biggest thing that I tell anyone, if you have a chance to fly a fair bit, especially if you can do 25,000 miles on any airline, pick the airline that flies like the most places from where you are, and just fly one airline. If you can do it, Jordan Temkin, he hit silver on Delta this past year. He did 25,000 miles. I started focusing just on Delta in August. And of course, I had some long trips in there. I went to Korea, I went to Sydney, Australia, and then Perth, Australia, a second trip. So that really leveled me up. But I went from zero to hero. I did 81,000 miles, 42 segments just on Delta from August until December. And then the remaining 35,000 or whatever on other airlines, which was kind of a loss on my end, because at one point I didn't think I'd do as much flying. We talked at this point last year, how's the racing scene going to be? Like, I don't know. And here at the end of the year, I flew to Australia 3 times for races, right? So if you can do it, if you can pull it off, the benefits are so amazing on the Perth, Australia trip. Because I was at gold level, I had lounge access. And so while I had a 9-hour layover in LAX and a 6-hour layover in Sydney, I got to have a shower at each and have full meals and free drinks for 9 hours. You can imagine how sloppy I was coming out of that lounge, getting on my plane.
He's like, I'm going back into the lounge. Forget the plane trip.
So like Jordan Temkin, who did 25,000 miles on Delta, he's silver. That means he gets one bag set up to 70 pounds for free round trip. I fly with 2. That's what you get for at gold. And I'm saving $140 round trip just with 2 free check bags at the gold level up to 70 pounds. And I'm platinum with my digits. So I actually get 3 free bags up to 70 pounds, which is like $200 value. So if you can do it, I know you look at, try and look at some of those trips or what your season's looking like. And if you can pull it off with work trips and vacations and stuff like that, if you can get that first level of status, it definitely is worth it. You may pay $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 an extra by sticking with that one airline in the beginning, but you save on the baggage. Plus you can get priority boarding, you get status matches with rental cars, and it definitely travel has its perks. I've spent a lot of time on layovers reading all the travel blogs and seeing it all firsthand. And yeah, it was a crazy season in 2018. 118,000 miles. It's crazy.
It tells you what, it's 2018 will be known as a down season, but it will also be known as a season where we still had a lot of good races, and a lot of the community is still going strong and still trying to beat each other on the fastest tracks in the world. So definitely come on out, enjoy yourself for 2019. There's probably going to be a lot of racing, even though we don't really fully know the schedule yet. I'm sure we're going to get that flushed out soon enough. There's already a couple of big races in the books, so definitely get out there, start planning everything. Joe Scully, he's going to try to, I don't know if he can beat 118,000 miles. That's a lot of miles.
I know. And that was me going to the 6 regional finals with MultiGP last year. Some of them I drove to, the ones North Central and Northeast, but I flew to the other 4. And so that took me to Washington and LAX and, collecting those miles there on some of those trips. So this year, we're still in the drawing stages of what the regional series is going to be with MultiGP. We had some great work with our tier 1s. We had a great vision, and then all of a sudden we've had another about face with MultiGP Corporate on what we think the series should look like. And I can't say a word about it other than I think our about face, our new direction on what we're going to do with MultiGP for champs and for qualifying and everything else is just going to blow everyone away. I think it's going to encourage more pilots attending more races, and I think it's going to encourage our chapters to host more races. I think we have some really good ideas in the pipe. We're going to get champs out of the way here at the beginning of February, and then later in February, I think everyone's going to be excited. I think we're going to put on those red hats and make drone racing great again.
All right, sounds good. I've already heard some rumors going around, so we're definitely going to be interested once we get champs out of the way. I'm sure we'll have Joe Scully or somebody from MultiGP Corporate to come on, give us the lowdown on what racing is going to look like in 2019, and hopefully heading into 2020, we're going to be bigger, stronger, and we're going to have more ties from grassroots all the way up to professional drone racing, because that's what we want to hear. That's what we want to see. We want to see our community continue to grow strong, and that's what we're encouraging you to support. Elvin, what's your rank on DRL Sims right now?
159. That's where I was. You said 100. I'm at 159.
I said you can have a chance to break into the 100. So I'm expecting you in the next 2 weeks.
You play a ride the fence.
I'm expecting you to break into the top 100. That's what
hell no.
Alrighty, folks. That's all we have.
Okay, I spent 4 hours learning the sim, and then I turned out that. So if I spend another 4 hours, we'll see. I'll let you know in a week. All right.
The challenge has been laid out. He has to be 125 or he's not getting a free meal from me from Las Vegas. 125.
Joe, hey, you want to get in on this?
Come on, Joe.
Can I get you a steak, Joe?
Yeah, wait until I can play with my free fake money on Hydra FPV.
All right, Joe. If anybody wants to contact you, reach out to you, where can they best reach you at?
My social media is tied into a few accounts. So FPV Racing Events, you can find me there. Rodeo Announcer, you can find me there. And that's on everything: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also shoot me an email, joe@multigp.com. It's the easiest and fastest to get a hold of me. And I want to look forward to seeing you when I see you at the next big drone race here in 2019.
Sounds good. And we look forward to it, Joe, because I'm sure we're going to have a bunch of fun times. So 2.5 weeks, we're counting down here on the FPV podcast. See you all out there.
Rip another shirt.
What? All right, we're out for the week. Thank you, Joe.
My pleasure.
Thanks, brother.